What is going on, guys? Hopefully, everybody can hear me and they're having a great week. And glad you guys have decided to join in with us. We started a little bit later tonight. We're going at 8 o'clock rather than 7:30. I had some coaching obligations I had to do tonight, so that put us behind a few minutes. But hopefully, we got everybody here, and it looks like we got a lot of the same crowd. So super excited to be with you guys tonight on a Friday night live. So, real quick, as always, I want to give a couple of shout outs. NC Relic Hunter is on here with us. Hopefully, his son is winning his football game tonight, but glad to have NC Relic Hunter on here. Adele, glad to have you in here, Adele. Sniff it out as always. He said he from a pack club seated hunt. I'll be using a White's Treasure Pro with a concentric coil. My son, a Fisher 1236, dig them all, leave none for them. There you go. That's it. Tesh Ridge Digger, glad to have you in here. Always a regular on here. Dirt Devil Detecting, glad to see you back in here. We missed you last week or the week before. I don't think you were in here one night, but Surfside Dan, glad to have you in here with us. Don't Tread on Me Metal Detecting, as always. Damien from down in my neck of the woods, glad to have you in here tonight, Damien. And then the myth, the legend, TN Sharpshooter is in the house. So glad to have TN Sharpshooter in here with us. Tony Maston, glad to have you in here, Tony. Joe Dirt, as always, a great supporter of the channel. Glad to have you in here, Joe. Joe Duncan, glad to have you in here. Ricky Bennett, glad to have you in here, Ricky. David Frazier, another big supporter of the channel. Glad to have you in here, David. Andrew's always here too. Glad to have you in here, Andrew. Bobby Short, another big supporter of the channel. Glad to have you in here. BK, my main man up in North Carolina and South Carolina. Glad to have you in here, BK. And Wild here, glad to have you in here as well. So, hope you guys have been having a fantastic week. Maybe some of you have been able to get out and metal detect and do some things. Of course, again, it's my busy time of the year, coaching, teaching, trying to metal detect when I can, if I can, and just really, really busy time for me. But glad I can share Friday nights with you guys and talk a little bit of metal detecting talk. So we are here, and hopefully soon I'll have Michael back in here with us. Maybe I can convince Calabash to maybe coming up real soon. So maybe I can get him in here, and would love to have Sharpshooter come in here. That'd be nice if we could convince Sharpshooter to come in here. So again, just wanted to say, I hope that you guys are having a fantastic week. And there have been a lot of things going on in the metal detecting world. And that was going to be the focus of tonight's show. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the new products that were introduced this week, and we're going to get to that. And then also, too, we're going to be talking, of course, always some XP Deus 2 talk and some of those other things. So there we go. And Sharpshooter, thank you very much, Sharpshooter. We appreciate you so much. Sharpshooter has been doing some wonderful tests on his channel. So go check him out too. He's working with the Deus 2. He's shown some things with the Deus 2 and the Mana Core. And I've actually played around with the Mana Core last week, and I'm going to talk about that as well. And Sharpshooter's been doing some Deus 2 and some Mana Core videos as well too. So again, glad to have Sharpshooter in here. Jesse, you're just in time. We didn't start till 8 o'clock tonight, so we're starting a little later than what we normally do, but glad to have you in here. So let's talk a little bit about what's been going on here in the metal detecting world, and that is going to be the new Nokta product. So the Nokta Score, the Nokta Double Score, and the AccuPoint Pinpointer all debuted. You notice Sharpshooter did not give his 2 cents worth, but he will, I'm sure, before this is over with. So, but Sharpshooter, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. But we're going to be talking about the Nokta Score and the Nokta Double Score. We're going to be looking at some of the specs of those metal detectors, as well as the new AccuPoint pinpointer. That's going to be the beginning of the show, and then we're going to talk some more about XP Deus 2 stuff, XP Deus 2 products, and so on. So that's where we're going to that's where we're going to go to. And we got some good. There's NC Relic Hunter talking about sharpshooter. And Dirt Devil Detective says he will give his 2 cents, Michael. That's true. He definitely will get that in. he said he wouldn't let me give 2 cents or I would have. All right. Okay, so let's get on with looking at these new Nokta products. So the Nokta Score was released this week, and I think last weekend at the Detective All show. It's going to have park and field and beach mode. So you're going to have 3 modes. The frequencies, it's going to have a single frequency, but it's only going to be 15 kilohertz. But it's going to have 3 multi-frequency modes: multi-1, multi-2, multi-3. So we're going to see those. Sensitivity, it's going to have 5 levels of sensitivity. It's going to have 3 models of discrimination. And I don't really know what that's going to be, but it says A, G, and F. It's going to have 13 channels for audio frequency shift. It does have pinpoint mode on it. It's got 6 levels of volume control, 6 levels of audio or black backlit behind the screen. It's got 9 levels of ground suppressor. So that's pretty interesting. Target depth, yes, it'll show you how deep the target is. Target ID is 1 through 60, so it's on a 60 scale. Discrimination segments, there are 30 segments, 1 segment for 2 IDs. It's fully submersible for 5 meters, and it comes with a full carbon fiber graphite shaft and a 13-inch coil as the standard coil. Now, that is the Nokta Score. So that is the Score. So again, I think, and I'm almost positive, Nokta's releasing this as sort of a response to MindLab's Xterra Pro, which came out earlier in the year. And this machine, though, is different. So if you don't know, the Xterra Pro has adjustable frequencies, but it's not a multi-frequency machine that's waterproof. This machine is waterproof up to 16 feet. This machine does come with a carbon graphite shaft. And it's giving you sort of a scaled down version of the Legend. So that's what we're looking at with this machine. And both of these machines are going to come in under $500. So I don't think they've actually said the retail price yet, but we do know it's going to be under $500. So that is going to be where they start. So we talked about the Score. Let's look at the double Score. So let's take a good look at that. The double Score, again, park, field, and beach modes. It's going to have 3 modes. Again, just like the Score, it's going to have a single 15 kilohertz frequency and 3 multi-frequencies: multi-1, multi-2, multi-3. Sensitivity settings, it's going to have 10 levels of sensitivity. Notch and filter, which the Score does not have. So this has notch and filter on it. It also has iron filter on it on the double Score. It has recovery speed of 3 levels. It's going to have 2 profiles that you'll be able to set up using this machine. So ground balance is going to be automatic. It's going to have manual tracking. It's going to have 6 levels of vibration, which the regular Score did not have. It does have a flashlight on it with the LED light. It's got 13 channels of audio frequency. You can pinpoint with it. Volume control, 6 levels, 6 levels of backlight. It is Bluetooth, so you'll be able to connect Bluetooth headphones. Target depth, it'll show target ID. Discrimination segments, you'll be able to do 30 segments just like the Score. Fully submersible up to 16 feet. Full carbon fiber graphite shaft and 13-inch coil as the standard. So that was the double Score. So that is it. As of yet, I don't know the actual weight of the machine. I do know that it's based off of the Simplex design, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be around the same weight as the Simplex. because the box looks very similar to the Simplex, and they're going to have a carbon graphite shaft with it. So I'm assuming that the weight wise, it's probably going to be around the same as the Simplex, if I had to take a guess. So there's those two detectors. What do you guys think? Do you think Nokta is making the right decision by releasing these machines? Do you think it's something that some of us may consider maybe as a backup machine? Um, Multi-frequency machine, less than $500 and waterproof. That's a pretty big deal, I think. So yes, both machines are coming with the 13-inch coil with them. And again, less than $500 for a multi-frequency waterproof machine. I believe that puts them as the only company making a metal detector that is multi-frequency with a carbon graphite shaft and waterproof. So to me, I think it's a pretty good deal. Now, I don't know about the performance of the machine. I haven't used one. If I do get my hands on one, I might try to show it. So again, who knows? And a lot of you are saying, like Dirt Devil Detecting says, my Legend is my backup machine. The Legend is $499, but I'm assuming that it's going to be less than, all they're saying right now is less than $500. So I mean, $499 is pretty much $500. But anyway, it's going to be less than $500, and that's going to be a pretty good deal. I would love to know what the price is going to be, but multi-frequency, you can hunt on the beach with it. Less than $500. It's waterproof. Apparently, it's going to be fairly lightweight with a carbon graphite shaft. So I think they're hitting on all of those things. Don't tread on me. Says I got a fairly new Deus One as a backup, right? And again, this isn't going to be for everybody. But if you're looking for a machine that is less than $500, that is waterproof, multi-frequency, turn on and go, I don't think this machine's going to be a bad deal in that range. But again, I haven't seen the machine yet. I'd love to get my hands on one and sort of just, sort of go through the paces with it. But we'll see. Yes, it's a beginner. Have so many options than we did starting out. The world will be bounded in 10 years. That's right. And again, and I know I've said this 100 times, what a great time to be a metal detectorist, that we've got all these options out here, with all these different machines. We got the Xterra Pro, we got the Vanquish, we got the WS6, we got the Equinox, we got all of these really, really good machines, the Legend. All of these machines are machines that are very affordable and can really do a good job. So, if you're in that market and maybe you don't have $500, but if you got $340 or you got $399, then this could be a home run for you, and there are some people that are interested in getting into the hobby, but they don't want to spend a ton of money, but they want a good machine. This might be the choice that they end up going with. It's just basically a scaled down Legend, just not as quite as many of the bells and whistles that we would see on the Legend, but again, multi-frequency machine that you could hunt on the beach with. So yeah, I think they're doing the right thing. Yeah, we're going to get to the pinpointer in just a minute, NC Relic Hunter, or that's Michael. So we'll get to that in just a second. It is, I think, though, let's see, I think on the double score, it has 3 levels of recovery speed. So you will be able to adjust the recovery speed on the double score, but not on the score. So you're right on that, Greeny Meanie. Yes, and Bell says I have my Knox 800 and that's a good one to have for a backup. But again, if you need a backup machine, or maybe you want to buy another machine for somebody else to hunt along with you, that you don't want to break the bank to get, then this might not be a bad option for sure. Surfside Dan said the Manicore is his backup. Is that not a great option? He's got the Manicore for a backup machine. But Dan loves his Deus too, so that's what he's coming across with. Tony Maston says, I agree. Alabama Digger. Yes. Yes. We've got so many great machines out there right now. And with all these new machines and all these different options and features and multi-frequency and waterproof and being able to hunt on the beach for less than $500. Again, yeah, we're just living in a great time with all these awesome machines that are going to be available. Dirt Devil Detecting says, I think the score will be 350-ish and the double score probably around 100 more. Yeah, and I don't know yet. I haven't seen any prices, but hopefully they'll release that real soon. They said on the video that I watched yesterday that they were hoping to maybe start shipping some of these maybe in the next week or two, but we'll see how that works out. I know that they just released that Simplex Ultra, which might not have been the best thing to release at this point. I think they should have just waited and release this. But I'm sure they already had a ton of these made, and they still put them out there. But I do believe that this machine was probably the machine that they should have released earlier. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, no ground balance. That's the one thing. Ground balance is automatic and manual tracking. So yeah, that's with the double score and the score. I believe both of them are that way. So yeah, no ground balancing for sure. Um, what did you say? The water it's rated to 5 meters or 16 feet. So again, you can dunk it. Isn't that right? 5 meters. My math is bad on metric system, but 5 meters, whatever 5 meters is. Bell says, my husband has the Manicore for backup too, Surfside Dan. Bells, you guys are y'all living large with the Manicore as the backup, but that's awesome that you got a backup. My backup is two WS6s, but I have a WS6, I have a Legend, I've got Xterra Pro that I use as a backup, I've got a Vanquish that I can use as a backup. So, but yeah, I mean, have a Manicore as a backup. That's awesome. Um, don't Tread on Me says, I also have an MX Sport and an old 80s Bounty Hunter. Right. Yeah. But again, those machines are not multi frequency, and multi frequency to me just gives a huge advantage. And to be able to have one for less than $500 and it's waterproof, that would, to me, that's a home run. Um, yeah, Surfside Dan says, Bells, I take it that the Deus 2 is his go to machine. Yes. Bell says, don't tread on me. My husband and I have White's MXTs, which are still great machines. Definitely single frequency. You can still hunt with a single frequency machine. And we've had this conversation. I mean, actually, I was actually having this conversation today with Sharpshooter when we were talking about single frequencies as well. Sharpshooter says, I'm waiting on the double score ultra model or the triple score ultra model. We know what you mean, Sharpshooter. Terry Greenway, he says, good evening. Bell says, yes, Surfside Dan, it is just because he knows it's better. Okay. Don't tread on me, Bells. I have see the MXTs, and yeah, they were good. The White's MXTs were really good machines, definitely. I wonder how that auto ground balance will perform in iron. It might not be the best in iron, Michael. That would be my guess. Right. You don't need them if you got a Deus 2. Well, of course, but there are some people that this is going to fit right into what they're looking for. The Nokta score, the Nokta double score, both of those machines are, multi-frequency machines, less than $500, carbon graphite shaft. That's a pretty good deal to me. David Frazier says Vanquish is an awesome beach machine. Don't drop it in the waves, right? And that was the only problem with the Vanquish is it wasn't waterproof. But the Vanquish 540 I have, and it's a really good machine, multi-frequency machine. Bell says the MXTs kick butt as long as there aren't a lot of other machines close by, right? And Surfside Dan says, yes, Terry, he says, you're right. The Deus 2 is very dependable. And it is. It is. Well, all of us know that. Most of us know that on here. But again, I always like to talk about other machines too. And I love XP. You guys know that Deus 2 machines are my go-to machine as well. Yes, Terry Greenway says probably purchase a Legend, right? And you can get the Legend. You can get the Legend for $499 Now that doesn't come with the upgrades if you buy the $499. I don't believe, or no, it does, but you won't get the wireless headphones. If you go to the wireless headphones, then you're going up to $599. So but for $499, the Legends, to me, another no-brainer. Great machine. I've got one. I've used it on the beach. Love it on the beach. I haven't really used it that much relic hunting, but it's an excellent machine on the beach and performs really well. It's not quite as deep as some of the other machines, I don't believe, but that brings me to another point, and I'll talk about this in just a minute. But the Legend really does well on the beach, and it's pretty quiet. You put it in multi-wet and run it on the beach. It performs very, very well, and I've had some success with it using it on the beach. So Finders Keepers is in here. Glad to have you in here, Finders Keepers. But anyway, I was going to say something else that I don't know that some of you may not have seen the video that Nokta released the other day. And in that video, they were talking about the Legend, and they were saying that there's going to be an update to the Legend that's going to increase the depth. So they're making a special mode, which supposedly, or a special program, which is going to help increase depth. It's going to be a deep seeking program, and they're calling it the beast mode. So anyway, it's coming. So they're supposedly working on that update. I don't know when it'll be out, but she did say that in the video. So there is going to be a added depth increase with that machine. Now, how does an iron, how it does in all, in certain situations, I don't know yet, but they are coming out with a deep seeking program to help out. So again, look forward to that. If you have a Legend, there is an update coming for adding that program to your Legend. Wild here says, I would be interested in one as a loaner machine, right? And again, most of us in here probably have a Deus 2, or we have a Manicore, or we have a Legend. And some of you may have some backup machines as well, but most of us are using those machines as our main machines. And this machine might be, serve as a backup. It might serve as one for a friend, to take out on the beach. One that you're, maybe you want to travel with, if you're going on a trip or something and you don't want to take your main machine, that could be an option. But again, if you know someone that's looking for a machine less than $500 that wants the multi-frequency experience and they want to be able to hunt the beach, I still think that this machine's going to be really good. T and Sharpshooter says, with 2 remotes or 1 remote and WS6 and 2 coils, and Deus 2 can back up to the Deus 2. That's right. Yeah. And that's what I have, Sharpshooter. I have 2 WS6 models, and then I have one with the remote. So I have 3 Deus 2 machines that I use as backups to the backup to the backup. But I love my Deus 2. You guys know that. And we're going to talk about the Deus 2 in just a minute. But I did want to focus on those new products because anytime something new is released, we need to look at them and talk about them because they're going to impact the market, I believe. And I believe that these machines are definitely a no-brainer for somebody looking for the machine under $500. So good deal, I think. Andrew Paul says, I have 2 complete XP Deus 2 setups. One is a backup to the other, and it does it all right. And again, I'm not trying to convince most of us in here. I think most of you guys are Deus 2 users. For the most part, there's some Manicore users in here too, and some Legend users in here. So we've really got the 3 main machines that are out there, and you throw in the Equinox too. But we've got, most of us in here have used or have one of those particular machines. These would be more designed for a beginner, novice, or somebody just starting out, or as a backup machine, probably for most of us. So I think that's where we are with these machines. Right. Sharpshooter says he thinks he found a deep dime today. So he says, stay tuned. So Sharpshooter's been putting up some videos about the Deus 2 and the Manicore. So again, not the score, not the double score. Pay attention. We'll see how much these are going to cost. I'm thinking, I'm sort of like Dirt Devil Detective says, I'm thinking somewhere in that 350 to 450 range, maybe for the double score. And then I think maybe less than 350 for the regular score. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, but think about it. If you bought an Xterra, which is 269, and then you went out and bought the headphones that go with the Xterra, then you're tacking on another $100. So you're right at 359. So what if you could buy a real multi-frequency machine for the same price that you would have to spend for wireless headphones with switchable frequencies on the Xterra Pro? So that's where I think they went with this. And I know it's a battle between Nokta and MindLab, but we'll see what happens. For us, it's a win-win because all they're doing by competing like this is just helping the market out and giving us more options and more things to hunt with. So we'll see what happens with these machines and the price points that they come in. So again, Bell says sharpshooter, that video on the roller quarters was eye-opening. Yeah, and I haven't watched that sharpshooter. Of course, I've been busy coaching this afternoon and doing some things, but I am going to get around to watching it. And sharpshooter says, Bell's glad you found that interesting. All right, and the other new product. So we've talked about the score. We've talked about the double score. The other new product that is coming out is going to be the AccuPoint pinpointer. Now, this one I found to be very interesting because of all of the features that are on this pinpointer. And I'm going to see if I can pull that up real quick. And I wasn't going to share my screen, but for some reason my screen sharing is not working right now. But anyway, it's got an LED screen on it, which I found to be interesting. And I've never seen a pinpointer with a screen on it, so that's pretty interesting. And then I'm going to go through these things with you guys. I'm pulling it up right now, but it's got a lot of features on it. I'm going to read through these features. So it has a color backlit screen. It's got single multifunction button operation. It's got twin LED flashlights. So if you're hunting in the dark or hunting at night, that's going to light up the world, especially you beach hunters that like to go out at night. 9 levels of sensitivity on it. It's got sound and vibration modes. It has discrimination on it. It has one tone. It has an iron off and it has 2 tones. So it has all of that. It's Bluetooth compatible, which means you're going to be able to pair it up. If you have Nokta headphones or you have Bluetooth headphones, you're going to be able to pair this thing up. It's got frequency shift on it, so you can shift out of it in case you're having some sort of interference. It's got volume level control, screen brightness control. It's fully waterproof to 3 meters. It has a measurement scale on the side, and it's USB-C charging. So those are the main things. Now, the one thing that she did point out was that this thing is still sort of in beta testing, which I found that to be interesting. So if you do get your hands on one, it's not quite ready yet. So, but she's hopefully they're updating it. So I'm assuming it's updatable and so on. Those are just things that I have seen. I have not seen a price, but she did say that I'm believing that price is going to be somewhere around $130 or $140. Not real sure on that one as well, but yes, we'll see. But I think the pinpointer thing is very intriguing. I don't know that we've had a pinpointer with this many features. And then it makes you wonder, why didn't MindLab, when they released their new pinpointer, why didn't they make it pairable with the headphones? And Nokta comes out and they make theirs right off the bat pairable with the headphones. So that was an interesting thing, that you could pair these up with Bluetooth headphones, which I think is pretty cool. And it's just got a ton of features on it. So really, really well thought out pinpointer. And how it performs, I don't know. Nobody's seen one yet. Nobody's used one yet that I know of. But I think we're going to see those starting to hit really, really, really soon. David Frazier says, with so many machines, I think we need to spend more time with our favorite and take the time to really learn it. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of us do that anyway. NC Relic Hunter looks to be a good option for someone looking for a new pinpointer, and it could be. I don't know. Sharpshooter says lost pinpointer feature, but the only company I know that has the lost pinpointer feature is XP. But MindLab didn't come out with a pinpointer that paired with their headphones. So why didn't they do that? How did Nokta beat MindLab on that? And of course, MindLab can't even produce their headphones right now. So, you know, I don't need the lost pinpointer feature, really, to be honest with you. I mean, as long as I got my lanyard on there, I don't think I'm going to lose it. So I feel good about it. Jay Fred says, I bought my XP Deus 2 because MindLab brought out the 7 and 900 instead of updating the 6 and 800. Do you think the Nokta customers will be upset that they launched new products rather than updating? Could be. Could be. My whole thing was, and I said this earlier, they released that Simplex Ultra and the Simplex, which are single frequency machines, and they got blindsided by MindLab when they released the Xterra Pro. And so I think this is sort of the counter punch to the Xterra Pro. Well, we can release a multi-frequency machine with a carbon graphite shaft, and they're right. I mean, so they responded the way that they probably should have responded. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Dirt Devil Detecting says, how many more updates on Nokta give to the Legend? That's a good question too. How far can they take the technology that's in the Legend? How far can they take that? And where are they going to go with it? So Dirt Devil Detecting, that's a great question. I know we're going to get at least one more update for the Legend, and that's going to be that super, super deep mode. Yes, we need a pinpointer that discriminates, and that might be where XP is going. So how many of you guys would like to see a Deus 2 with discrimination on it, to be able to tell iron and non-ferrous targets? I mean, that would be pretty cool too, because I know I dig a lot of nails for sure. Surfside Dan says, I can barely see the screen on the Deus 2, and I will probably need a magnifier to see the screen on this pinpointer, right? Yeah, it's probably pretty small, but it's colorized, Dan, so that should make it easier to see, right? Yes, and thank you, NC Relic Hunter. It is rechargeable too, so that's a great feature as well, that you can recharge that pinpointer over and over and over again. So right, yeah. Belt says you got that right, Surfside Dan. Yeah, Sharpshooter says MindLab's pinpointer has a loss feature. Well, that's good. I just don't care for the MindLab pinpointers. I like my MI6, and that's just my pinpointer. But again, I'd love to see this Nokta pinpointer and see what it does. Greeny Meanie says MindLab just needs to bring their prices back to what they were, and they would be fine. Right? I think MindLab just released so much, and I don't know. It just feels like some of their stuff wasn't, I don't know, marketing wise, it just wasn't as well thought out as it probably should have been. That's just what I think, but we'll see what happens for sure. Wisco to Tech, it's all right, Wisco. We started a little bit later. We started at 8 o'clock tonight, but we're glad you were here. Not the one, yes, is supposed to discriminate. Yes, it does have a discrimination, and does, two-tone, one-tone, and you can turn the iron off completely on it. So it does have, a discrimination feature on it. So yes, it is there. Sharpshooter says this is a non-starter on pinpointer. Remember, you could be full with co-located ferrous and non-ferrous targets. True, that's true, definitely. But again, this pinpointer is going to have some sort of discrimination. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. So look at it that way too. So MI6, of course, we love, and then of course XP has the MI4, which is also a great pinpointer as well. William Birch, glad to have you in here. William, well, we hope your mom is doing okay, and hopefully she's back at home resting. But sorry to hear that about your mom, but we're glad you're here with us tonight. So again, so those are the three products Nokta has released. Again, I'll just like to, let everyone know that these things are out there, these things are coming, and that was going to be the first part of the program, was to talk about those things. So we've got the score, the Nokta score. we've got the double score, and we've got the Nokta AccuPoint pinpointer. And then the other announcement is that they are going to release a new program for the Legend. So if you have the Legend, you can look forward to some sort of new program coming that supposedly is really, really deep. And so we'll see what that does. And I can't wait to try that out. So again, we'll see what happens there. All right. Any questions about these Nokta machines? If you have some questions, leave them over in the comments. I don't know everything about these machines yet. I just know what I watched the other day, and that's pretty much the gist of it, what I've seen online. And again, hopefully we'll have some prices and some other things coming really, really, really soon. Joe Dirt says, since the AccuPoint is yellow, I've already heard it's called the banana. Right. So we had the carrot and now we have the banana, Joe Dirt. So we've got both of those coming. So again, those machines, those products are coming from Nokta. So you might want to check them out. If you're interested in any of those are going to be available, I would say probably in the next month. I think we'll start seeing some of them hit here in the United States, possibly. Not to just moved into a new warehouse, new facility. I don't know how fast they got all that stuff up and running, but I'm sure they got it up and running really, really quick. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So now that we've talked about Nokta, let's get back to some Deus 2 conversation. So Gary released a video today actually, and I found it to be very interesting. What did you guys notice about that video that was released by Gary Blackwell on the Deus 2? Jesse Britt says the squash. Has anybody seen the video that Gary Blackwell released for XP? He says that he was using the wrong program. And guys, this is one that I've been calling for the last, really for the last 3 or 4 months since the update. And Michael was on here with me. Sharpshooter has attested to some of this too. But sensitive full tones, high square, that's what he is proclaiming to be the program to use in heavy iron. And I just think that's great. He's just sort of reaffirming some of the things that Michael and I and Sharpshooter were actually saying early on about sensitive full tones and using full tones when we're hunting in the iron. And then, of course, you throw in the high square factor into it. And a lot of people are hearing it now from Gary, and it sort of makes me and Michael and Sharpshooter feel pretty good because we were sort of on this early on, and now they're talking about it right now on his channel. So yes, yeah, a lot of people talking about Goldfield, and we're going to get to that in just a second. Greeny Meanie says, does not the send you test machines teach? They did send me one for the Legend. Now, I don't know if they'll send me one for the Score. If they do, then yes, I'll be glad to take it out and use it and just sort of, play around with it. Like I said, I had fun swinging the Legend on the beach. I thought the Legend performed really, really well. And for the price point, it's just not a bad machine. For $4.99 or even $5.99, you can go out and hunt a beach. But yeah, I think the multi-frequency option and that price with the carbon graphite and all that stuff and all those features. I mean, the Legend's got tons of features. So really, really like that. Dirt Devil Detecting says Goldfield sounded better than sensitive full tones. Okay. Yeah. That was one of the things that I was going to be testing. Since they released that 2.0, they said that Goldfield is going to be better with smaller targets. Well, would it mean that it would be better in iron? And I'm not real sure on that. And I've actually talked to Sharpshooter about this on here too. And Sharpshooter's saying maybe try Relic or Goldfield and see how it works. So I'm going to play around with it a little bit. But Dirt Devil Detecting, I'll take your word for it. If you think that it sounded better than sensitive full tones, then, by all means, I would use it. Let us know what types of settings and things that you're using on it that makes it work good for you. I'd love to know that. So yes, uh, Surfside, yeah, and that's exactly what he said. He had the wrong program, and I'm going like, that's really interesting because I've been talking about sensitive full tones and full tones and the high square. You guys know that I've been sort of going over that really for the last 2 or 3 months. I come on here and I talk about this. It seems like the same thing, but now Gary's actually sort of seems like he's clicked in with that. So don't tread on me. Says sensitive full tones, square high tones for the best target ID. I've been using deep high conductor for heavy iron lately. And using deep high conductor, how are you finding that? Don't tread on me. That's a good one. I'd love to hear that. Uh, William Birch says, would Goldfield use too high frequency for finding silver? Not necessarily, because I think even the multi-frequency thing, I think, is where we sort of get an advantage here. And I've run the max frequency at 40 kilohertz and hit silver. So William Birch, I think you can still get away with it. It's probably not ideal for hunting silver, but you could probably still get away with it. Sharpshooter says, I've been chatting about Goldfield with buds as of late. Right. Yeah. And we've been talking about that because it was interesting that it was saying with the 2.0 update, how Goldfield seems like it could help maybe in iron. Um, but again, I'm not real sure on that. I haven't had a chance to really use it that much. I did try Relic the other day. I did like the way the Relic program sounded in iron using it. But again, I got to play around with that a little bit more before I decide on any of that. But again, I love sensitive full tones, high square. I love fast. I love fast and full tones and the high square involved in that, which are the main things that I've been preaching. And then also to implementing notch, which I think is helping out a lot on these programs as well. NC Relic Hunter says it all depends on where you are hunting, and that's true, definitely. Joe Dirt says he's been messing around with Goldfield program, but I think Relic is a bit deeper, at least in my soil, and that's what Sharpshooter and I were talking about the other day with the Relic program. You get a little more depth. I think it's a little easier to set up, but I like the Relic program, and I swung it for a few minutes the other day, and I hope to get back to testing it again real soon. I've got a week off coming up in October, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to get out and do some detecting and test some of these things that I want to see. So we'll see. Make it work says, yeah, sensitive full tones. And Michael and I had the conversation about sensitive full tones the other night too, how it sees more in the ground. I think that's the term that we were using, that it sees more in the ground. And again, you may dig some more iron, but that's because you're seeing more iron, if that makes sense to you guys. And Michael, I think Michael was dead on with this. I think you're seeing more iron. I think you're hearing more iron. And therefore, you've opened that machine up and, you run that silencer. I never run my silencer above 1. Sharpshooter has been telling me to maybe drop that reactivity down to 1.5. And he seems to think that also helps. So, those are things that, you guys can try. But again, I think sensitive full tones just allows you to see more what's in the ground, including the iron. And I think that's why it seems a little more sparky or a little hotter than some of the other programs running sensitive full tones. William Birch says, I will give Goldfield a try at my old cabin site in the woods to see if he finds anything that he missed. Right. Try Goldfield. Like I said, I haven't really used it that much. I was interested in seeing what it was going to be like with the 2.0. Get that treasures in here tonight. Glad to have you get that treasure. Very good. Thank you. NC Relic Hunter says, me and Sharpshooter were just talking about Goldfield and Relic. The IAR and the disc settings are something we need to test a little more right. And that was the IAR thing sort of throws you off a little bit because you can't adjust you can't adjust the tones. And I think that's got to take a little bit of getting used to when you can't adjust those tones and so on. So that's where we're at with that. Dirt Devil Detecting says there's a 1750s dump at the hunt I'm attending tomorrow that I plan on spending some time in. I'll be trying a few different programs, right? And guys, and this is the one thing too, and we've said this, a bunch. Using these different programs in different settings and different coils. I mean, you're going to go back into sites and you're going to keep finding things because the Deus 2 is just a really, really good machine. I mean, you've got that versatility of that machine. And I think that's what all of us look forward to using and why we love using that machine is being able to set it up for all these different situations, for finding things, and so on. So being able to do those things with the Deus 2, I think just really enhances everything for all of us. And it's just such a versatile machine. So again, you guys are dead on that. NC Relic Hunter says, I think sensitive full tones is running less filter than the other programs. That makes it run hotter and sparkier. Remember, it is from 1.0. Exactly. That's got the old, the original 1.0 filters on it, which I think Michael's dead on with this, that it's going to make that machine seem a little more sparkier. But again, I think it allows you to see more in the ground too, or hear more in the ground. And I think that's where we're hearing some of that iron. And I hunt some really heavy loaded iron sites with just square nails for days. And if you guys watch my last Manicore video that I put up, you saw me pull like 6 nails out of one hole because this place is just loaded with those square nails. And I tested the Manicore out there, and I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Digging Daryl's in here. Glad to have you in here, Digging Daryl. Appreciate you being here tonight. T and Sharpshooter says, expect to see many videos on my suspect deep down I buried some time ago. Deus 2 and Manicore, different configuring settings. Thank you, Sharpshooter. So he says he's got a video coming. Terry Greenway says, been using high square but switched to PWM and pulled out a 1776 2 real and heavy iron using sensitive full tones 3 days ago. Right. And we've had this conversation too about PWM versus high square. For some of us, the PWM, I think, is more responsive audio than the high square. I think the high square, though, gives a more pure sound, if that makes sense to you guys. So PWM is excellent, and I love PWM as well. Like I said, I could use PWM and I could use high square. I think it just all depends on what you're used to and what you want to hunt with. And so, yeah, both great options to choose from for your ears. So again, PWM, high square, awesome, awesome, awesome. 662 finally made it. No deer. Sharpshooter has them all at his barn. Sharpshooter doesn't have any deer, but he loves shooting some squirrels. So there's probably not a squirrel within 3 or 4 miles of Sharpshooter's house. If I was a squirrel, I would stay way away from Sharpshooter's barns and houses. Terry Greenway says, yeah, probably his favorite coin. Okay, Terry. 1776 2 real. That's amazing find, Terry. I mean, congratulations. And again, Deus 2 comes in for the win, comes in for the score. Alabama Digger says, if you tame sensitive full tones to the side, it is unstoppable in iron. I agree with you, Alabama Digger. Doesn't take too much to push it over the edge, but if you get it right, it's perfect. Right. And you got to play with the settings a little bit with it, but sensitive full tones, definitely a home run in iron. Again, fast and full tones. And like we've been saying, implement that notch. You can choose your pick of high square or PWM. But I just thought it was interesting that Gary Blackwell put up a video today showing high square and sensitive full tone. So again, for what that's worth, yes, make it work. Says congratulations, Terry. Yeah, that's a great find, buddy. 662 says, oh, I saw the deer in his video at his barn. Of course, I haven't seen the video, but again, there aren't any squirrels near Sharpshooter's barn. I promise you. Yes. Yes, sharpshooter does squirrels taste like chicken. He can tell you for sure. He can definitely tell you that one. Terry Greenway says, thanks, David. NC Relic Hunter says, PWN has more nuance, but has less of an alert to good targets to me. Right. And again, I think that it's got more audio response to it, is what I would say. Well, just like Michael's saying here. And I think that's where if you're used to that sound, I think it's great. If you like that more, I say like maybe pure or high pitched sound, especially on those silver coins and those higher conductive targets, then high square is a great option. David Frazier says he's never found a Spanish. So Terry, congratulations on your Spanish. And Sharpshooter says, no, they don't taste like chicken, better than chicken. So I have never eaten squirrel. I can honestly say that, even though I'm from the South, but I've never eaten squirrel. But Sharpshooter, I'm sure, has, because he does a hurting on some squirrels. But again, NC Relic Hunter says squirrel and dumplings. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. But get back to the Deus too. I thought that was really interesting that came up the other day on my feed, or yesterday or today. I'm so confused with days. But yes, that came up on my feed this morning, and I was just shaking my head like, hey, we've been talking about this for a while, but looks like it's finally getting over to Europe. That sensitive full tones and the high square is doing really good. Yeah. Sharpshooter says it means teaches a city slicker. Well, I don't know if I'm a city. I grew up in the swamps, so I don't know if I'm a city slicker or not. Yeah, there you go, Alabama Digger. We need a sharpshooter squirrel recipe book. I bet he could make a lot of money off of that. What do you guys think? The sharpshooter squirrel recipe book. That would be good. How to cook squirrel by sharpshooter. Original recipe for Brunswick stew, I believe, was squirrel. I did not know that, Jesse Britt. But yeah, that's interesting. So Deus 2, Goldfield program, of course, 2.0. Goldfield program supposedly hits better on smaller targets. And of course, most of 2.0, the update was centered around the Extreme Hunter. Still waiting to see when these things start showing up in the United States, which I think that's going to happen maybe, within the month or so, maybe, hopefully. And maybe we'll be able to get our hands on one and at least just sort of walk through it. And just to clarify too, because there seems to be some misconception in some parts that the Extreme Hunter it's not for just average Joe metal detector. It's going to be for specific types of sites, maybe sites that you've hunted. Maybe you're looking for Civil War trash pits. Maybe you're going in just looking for, because you know that there were a colonial site there. There could be a colonial trash pit. Maybe you know that whoever lived there buried coins in a jar, from the Depression era or something along those lines. That machine is going to be geared for that. It's not going to be geared for going out and looking for an individual coin or doing regular metal detecting. They even advertise it as being for, even construction and line work and those types of things too, if someone needs that type of equipment. So I think that's where the Extreme Hunter is going, in that direction, more for archaeological research, not so much for, just finding a button here or there, or a coin here or there, or so on. So remember, it's going to be more of a specific niche type machine. And I don't think that XP is gearing it towards, just the average person, because they want it to be more for like archaeological type things, big objects, but again, I think that's where they went with the Extreme. So it will be interesting. Detective Two Guns says squirrel tastes more like possum. I've never had squirrel. 662 has a good comment. He says, I played with the Goldfield and High Square on my old iron-infested home sites and pulled several non-ferrous, including Civil War artillery cuff button this week. That's an awesome find, 662. I'll have to look out for that. I want to see that on video. He says video's coming soon. So definitely want to see that for sure. Thanks for sharing. If you were going to England and had one stop program to use, which one would you use? That's a good question. It just depends on the site. I would want something, I would think maybe over in England, maybe more deep. Deep high conductor, general. Fast is still pretty deep. I just, it would be site dependent. That would be the thing. So I've never hunted in Europe, so that's sort of hard for me to say. But I bet there's somebody on here that has that might be able to sort of steer you in the right way. But and again, it's going to be site dependent as far as what you're looking for. But my programs, and I think we went over this too a few weeks ago. But the programs that I tend to go to, or my go-to programs, are fast, sensitive full tones, general, and deep high conductor. Those are the four that I use the most. And then, of course, when I'm out on the beach, of course, the beach programs. But those four are the ones that I tend to lean towards for most of my situations. Now in Europe, I don't know. I don't know what it'll be like over in Europe. But that's a great question. If somebody's on here that has hunted in Europe and they see some programs that maybe function a little better in that type of soil, because I know they have coke and they have a lot of issues with that, then we'll see. NC Relic Hunter says, been on the lookout for an added update for the Deus 2. Sharpshooter found a pinpoint bug in the WS6 Master. Yes, I think we saw that. Yes, Alabama Digger. Andrew says he can. Yeah, and Andrew, I think you put that up last week too, that we were talking about the reactivity and how it was somebody on here, and it might not have been you, but if it is, Andrew, you did. Somebody said it last week. But yeah, 1.5 reactivity tends to work really, really well in a lot of situations. Andrew also says too, I'll be on a UK trip next week, right? So Andrew, since you're going to the United Kingdom, what are going to be the programs that you think you're going to go with? What would be the ones that you feel like you're going to use? 662 says, I now have one RC on 1.1 and one on 2.0. And that's a good way to compare and see if there's any differences between that as well. Terry Greenway says, TN needs to come to Columbia, Tennessee and get rid of my squirrels. Yeah, he'll be glad to do that for sure. He'll mop the floor with some squirrels and his squirrel rifle for sure. Alabama Digger says 662, very cool. I'll investigate your setup soon. Haven't updated yet. All right. Yes, 662, great find. Andrew says, with 0.71 version, I use modified Park since 24 kilohertz and can ring nicely on a hammered silver. Okay. I'll have to try that. And, and I said this too, I think a few weeks ago as well, how there were people using Park program, but I haven't gone back to it and tested it anymore, but I would love to maybe try that out, Andrew. So I might give that a shot too. Yes, Dirt Devil to Ted. And yeah, guys, if you haven't hit that like button, I know I've just been rambling and we've been talking. Please hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm. Greatly appreciate it. And any donations tonight do go straight back to the channel. And we're going to be getting out and doing some things really, really soon as my coaching season's over with. And we're gonna go out and test some of these things we've been talking about too. And hopefully I can bring you that content and share some of the information that we get from that. Yes, Tesh Ridge Digger, definitely. Gary Blackwell in England has some good videos on hunting with the Deus too, definitely. Yeah, and then Gary, like I said, is using something that we've been talking about for the last 3 months. And he said that he had the wrong program, and now he's using the program that we've sort of been talking about, which I thought was really interesting. Yes, last spring about 1.5, right. Yeah, 1.5 I think is sort of that go in between. It's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest. I think it's sort of in the Goldilocks range is what I would call it. But definitely, Andrew says my UK trip coming up will be the first trip with the 1.1 update. I will still use 24 kilohertz, right? Well, and then of course you can set the max frequency on these things now too. So 24 kilohertz or 40, whichever one you feel works really good. Sharpshooter says using 1.5 reactivity in iron, not too fast on sweeps, can sniff out even shallow stuff. Yeah, 2.5 to 5 or to 4 reactivity can miss. And that's something that I have not tried, and I will do that because again, I know that like Andrew said, I think he told me or somebody had mentioned on here not too long ago about 1.5, and we'll have to try that and see what happens with it. Andrew says, I will use my Mod Park and modified sensitive full tones. Okay, Andrew. Well, good luck, buddy. I hope you find a ton of stuff, and hopefully that will definitely be the program that you can find a ton of really, really cool artifacts over in Great Britain. So that'll be nice. Let us know how you do, Andrew. And hey, if you think about it, email me some of those pics and some of those finds, and we'll be glad to share it on here too. And again, that goes for everybody on here. If you got finds and things you want to share, I'd love to share your finds at the beginning of the show. We didn't do it tonight because I was sort of rushed. I do believe somebody has sent me some stuff, so maybe the next live stream we do, we'll try to do our finds by some of our followers. So if you got some, definitely send them. Metal detecting with ZZ Kid today felt good. North Carolina, nice cool day in the AM. Yes, it felt good this morning. I'm hoping maybe I can get out on Sunday to do a little bit of hunting, but glad to have you on here, Metal Detecting with the CZ Kid. Terry Greenway, he said, I was running 1.5 when I found the 2 Real and heavy iron. There you go, Sharpshooter. So they're sort of confirming this. And Sharpshooter says, congrats on your fine 1.5 for the 9-inch coil, not the 11-inch coil. So, Terry, you might want to tell us whether you were using the 9 or the 11. Metal Detecting with CZ Kid says, hello, Bells. And don't tread on me, Metal Detecting. When it comes to reactivity, I always use at least 3 different settings per side. I'm always amazed how people miss things on the surface that I find with the reactivity of 5. Right. And, and we've said this, but again, you can go back and change just, a couple of settings or even one setting. And that can be the difference in finding something and not finding something in some cases. And reactivity is one of those things, as well as using different coils, using different programs on the Deus too. By doing those things, I think those things open up the machine and they give you an advantage for sure. So again, that really, really helps. NC Relic Hunter says 6.6 found an eagle artillery button. I know. Yeah, he said that earlier. And that's an awesome, awesome find. I can't wait to see the video. Terry said that he was running the 11-inch sharpshooter using that 1.5 kilohertz. So that's a great find, Terry. That's awesome. Mark Cuss says, hey guys, glad to have you in here. Bell says, haven't been for quite a while. Too much stuff been going on. Well, Bells, we're glad you're here with us tonight. Joe Dirt, thank you for the donation. Greatly appreciate it. Again, goes straight back to the channel, and we appreciate you guys donating to the channel and helping us out and fund our adventures and fund equipment, cameras. We've got a drone that we're going to be using maybe during the fall. So we got a bunch of things that's going to be bringing some new types of content to you guys, and your donations and your generosity is what allows me to be able to do those things. So thank you so much. Southern Relics, hey, glad to have you in here tonight. Another South Carolina boy. 662 says, NC Relic Hunter, I sent pics to Brian, videos on TikTok and Instagram. And 662, I will get those up on the next live stream. Remind me though, so I don't forget. I got so much stuff going through my head, but I will get those up. And that's an awesome find, buddy. And so excited for you. Sharpshooter says that 1.5 will work with the 11-inch coil, but I like to run the 11-inch coil at 3 or 2.5 reactivity a lot of times. So there you go from Sharpshooter. Yeah, Make It Work says really liking all the information about the Deus too, and that's what makes this our channels or my channel a little more unique versus some of the others. As we go into a lot of technical stuff that you're probably not going to see on other channels for sure, and we've got so many knowledgeable people who follow and subscribe and are willing to share their information with everyone on here, and it's just a great time, and you guys are so easy to talk to and so much fun, and I think that's why we're doing really well as far as views and follows and likes and so on. So you guys are really helping make that happen, and I can't thank you enough for that. um, Southern Relic says, "Teacher, are you going to any future events?" I haven't really been asked for anything lately. I know there's some big things coming up. XP usually, maybe they'll reach out to me. I don't know yet, but there are some big events coming up soon, I believe, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I get to go or not. But I'd love to go. I just want to go hunt. So maybe some of those events will be coming soon, and they'll send me to some of those events and let me use my XP Deus 2 metal detector and talk to you guys in person. I'd love to go see some of you guys in some of these other places. Detector Guns, 2 Guns says, "Don't tread, that's sweet." Yes, let's see what he said. Tumbled some slick coppers last week and found a 1795 letter edge draped cap copper. The only thing I can ID is the lettered edge. Wow, that's a super fine for sure. Yeah, I've got a couple of coppers that are just toast. I wish I could. I probably need to invest in a tumbler. I haven't done that, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I can get one of those sometime in the near future. Maybe tumble some of my old coppers that I couldn't get an ID off of. Sharpshooter says Deus 2 is still being unlocked, even by me. Right. And anytime there's an update, and again, anytime there's an update, it takes a while to sort of figure out what settings and what programs and what things you can do to adjust these machines to make those machines where you can go and find a whole bunch of things. So I look forward to testing some more during the fall. I look forward to Sharpshooter doing his thing during the fall. And, between all of us and everybody being on here, that's going to make a lot of information being shared. And if you haven't shared the channel, share with people, especially other Deus 2 users, Nokta users, Manicore users. We try to cover all the machines as much as we can. Again, most of us on here are Deus 2 users, but you guys just make it so easy, and we have a good time talking as well. So, Bobby Short, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. You're always so loyal and giving to the channel. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And hopefully you got some information that you can use and take back and try on your machine as well. Yeah, Andrew says, he says, "I'll say it again. XP Deus 2 does it all." And I think all of us feel that way. That the Deus 2 is just one of the best machines out there, and we all love it. And it's a great machine. And there are a lot of other good machines out there too, but for most of us on here, the Deus 2 is the machine. It's our go-to machine in many cases. But again, we're living in a great time. Like we said, we started off the show talking about the Nokta score. We talked about the double score. We talked about the AccuPoint pinpointer. And I used the Manicore this past weekend on the site that I've been hunting for the last 4 years on that lot site. And I dug a button with it, So again, I think you can take any of these new machines and you set them up the right way and get used to using them. Like somebody said earlier, pick your favorite and then just learn it the best you can. And I think that's how a lot of us feel, especially with our Deus 2 machines. We love it, and we're trying to learn it the best we can. And a lot of the information that's being shared on here is information that you guys can use. So there you go. Let's see here. Surfside Dan says, "Teach, save the date, October 15th for the museum. Thank you, Dan. Dan's. I'm actually going to a plantation site that Dan and them have been working on. That's going to become a museum for a lot of the artifacts that they found, and I can't wait to go and see some of the cool things that Surfside Dan and his crew found on this plantation site. So it's going to be a lot of fun. LC Hunt says, burnish your slick coppers with one of those 3 millimeter, 180 grit fine sanding sponges. I've ID'd several that way. Thank you, LC. I've never done that, but I will definitely give it a shot for sure. So there you go, guys. More information, not just about the Deus 2, not just about metal detectors, but how to clean these coins and maybe get something off of it. LC, thank you so much for sharing that information. Yes, Sharpshooter says ergo, ergo, ergo. That's why, yeah, a lot of people love the machine being lightweight. The ergonomics of it is just what makes this machine so special as well. The 5-year warranty, which I think that sometimes gets lost in everything that the Deus 2 offers. But the 5-year warranty is also a big one as well. Joe Dirt says, one of the best things about the Deus 2 is having a lot of stored programs. You can quickly compare side and compare results over targets in the wild. Right. I've got like multiple programs, and the way Sharpshooter is, I'll fill that up in no time because he always wants me to try this or try that. And I've saved some of the things that I've tried with him and gone over targets and tested. And yes, you're exactly right, though, Joe Dirt. It's being able to compare those different programs, different settings, and just being able to switch back and forth. That's a huge advantage. It really is. Jesse Britt says, when I can go over a site multiple times and still pull out things after you think there's nothing left in it, it never gets old. Right. And I keep going to the same site. I've been going to this site right down the road from my house, and I keep finding stuff. Like I said, I just found something with the Manicore, different machine, different settings, found something, go in there with the Deus 2, change the frequencies up, change the reactivity up, change the different programs up, use a different coil. I mean, what else do we want, guys? I mean, that is just what makes this machine so special. Yes. And 662 says, yes, Joe Dirt, I'm always comparing targets with different programs. So yeah, that's it. Definitely, you can use all these different programs, different settings, different coils, different size coils. The 9-inch, the 11-inch, the 13-inch, all do really, really, really well. And their unmasking capability to me is what's so amazing, especially with the 13-inch coil. And I know you guys have heard me talk about it before, but I like the 13, even in heavy iron. So if you've been afraid that you didn't think the 13 would work and unmask in heavy iron, oh, well, you might want to think about getting a 13. And Michael's on here, and he's seen me work with it in heavy iron, and it did really, really well. And just real excited about having that in my arsenal too. The 11, the 13, and the 9 are all special coils as well. Right. And Andrew says, ditto, always comparing different programs. Right. Definitely. Tesh Ridge Digger says, it's hard to find and use Deus 2 for a backup because people don't part with their detectors. That's right. Look, you can go and see there aren't many Deus 2s that are being sold. Now, you may run across one here and there, but you don't see them very often. And if you go on YouTube and you do a YouTube search and you type in just XP Deus 2, you're probably going to see the majority of the videos that are being made are using the Deus 2. So that tells you something right there. It's one of the most popular machines that's out there right now. And they're to me, they're dominating the market even at this point. Surfside Dan says, Joe Dirt, you're exactly right. Sharpshooter says XP next model release needs to allow 2 version software. Like to see user slots to be loaded via computer interface with settings. That might be a great idea, Sharpshooter. Thank you. Yeah. Michael, NC Relic Hunter says 11 by 13 is a great tool. Yeah, I agree with you, Michael, 100%. Do we all keep going to our favorite sites, which is in our comfort zone, instead of getting out there to look for different sites? Well, my only problem is that I'm sort of stuck close by because of what I'm doing right now. But Detective Two Guns, I'm gonna be on some new sites coming up this fall and this winter, and I'm looking forward to going to those places. Dirt Devil Detective says, "Good night, all. Got to head out early tomorrow. DFA 8. Well, good luck, Dirt Devil Detective, and hope you find a lot of stuff. If you find something really cool, send us a picture. Would love to share it with the channel. Metal Detecting CZ Kid, as far as wet, saturated salt beaches, if you lower the salt sensitivity, will you lose considerable depth? I'm hearing yes and no. Um, Salt sensitivity, I know that it will hurt the unmasking capabilities a little bit with salt sensitivity. Not that you would really need that, but you could miss some targets if you bump that thing up too high. I do know that. But as far as the depth, I don't think I've seen any depth problems with the salt sensitivity, but I don't run my salt sensitivity very high at all. In fact, I sort of leave it a little bit open, and our beaches aren't really bad as far as that goes. Yes, good luck, Dirt Devil. Wisconsin, Texas. I have not updated the 2.0. Is there an advantage? Uh, I don't think so. Not unless you're really planning on using that Goldfield program and you want to, and you're planning on getting the extreme. Then I don't see the advantage of updating the 2.0. That's just me. But I'm not going to update unless I get the extreme, and then I would update. But we'll see. Um, Sharpshooter says lowering the salt sensitivity decreases depth on a salt beach. Lowering it, not raising it. That's what you're saying, Sharpshooter. Um, I don't know. But anyway, I have not messed with salt sensitivity as far as depth wise. I want to say I run my salt sensitivity at 6 most of the time when I'm using beach sensitive. And I haven't had a problem with depth. I've dug things 14, 13, 12 inches in some cases using the sensitivity set at 6 for what that's worth. Um, and hopefully that maybe answers your question, CZ Kid. I'm not real sure if it does. Don't I'm jonesing for a new big colonial site. No luck so far this year. Last year I found two. Right, and I'm ready to go hunt one too as well. Does anyone know if the Deus 2 is coming out with a 6-inch coil? Well, we think maybe something, maybe next year. We don't know for sure, but I got a sneaky feeling that we're possibly going to see one in the near future. Tesh Ridge Digger says it will be better at about 7 in salt water due to falsing. Right, 6, 7 is, and that's where I've been running mine as well. But I haven't seen any problems with depth at that salt sensitivity setting. And that's what I was trying to say a few minutes ago. Silver Hunter says, I would love a pinpointer with discrimination, right? And the new Nokta AccuPoint will have some discrimination to it. And I won't say that XP won't come out with a new pinpointer sometime in the near future too. You know, that might be something that they want to look at with some of these other pinpointers having that feature. Terry Greenway says, I think I used my good look up on that 70. I didn't find squat at another place today. Face all right. Yeah. Well, hey, at least you got that one, and that's a good one for sure. It'll come back around for you. I know it will. Yeah. He says that answers the question on salt sensitivity. I will run it lower. False is too much at 7.9 where I'm at. Right. And like I said, I want to run 6. I think I run 6 on my beach, and I haven't had a problem with depth running it at 6. So yeah, for whatever that's worth, CZ Kid. Sharpshooter says version 2.0 improved Goldfield. Now, we've already said that. Yes, it's more, smaller targets. But that's, if you're not having a problem with 1.10, unless you're getting the extreme hunter or you plan on using Goldfield, to me, I would wait on 2.0. Or that's just my opinion. Metal Detecting with CZ Kid says, hello, Wisco Detect. Sharpshooter must not have been paying attention. Plus we have, if you're a diver too, and you're using the bone conductive headphones and you want you could get 2.0 because you can use the equalizer with the bone conduction headphones. So, but sharpshooter's exactly right on that one. Well, guys, it is 1:20. I didn't really plan on being on here that long, and I've got an early morning. I've got to be up and out the door at 5:30 in the morning, so it's probably about time for me to sign off. But again, I appreciate everyone being here tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those of you that donated money tonight. For those of you that showed up and offered some great information, I think everybody gets something from this channel, and that's the good thing. And we really, really, really appreciate that. And Bobby, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. No problem, Andrew. Thank you guys so much, everybody. Metal Detecting with CZ Kid says I'm headed out tomorrow. Good luck, Metal Detecting CZ Kid. Hope you find some really, really cool things. Send us some pics if you find something good. I'd love to share it with you guys on that. So yes, thank you, Tony. Good show. Yes, good luck to you, everyone on here. I hope everybody has a great and fantastic rest of your weekend. I'm looking forward to working out with my team in the morning, and then we are going to watch some college football tomorrow afternoon, and then maybe Sunday we can get out and do some metal detecting. So that's where we're at. Don't tread on me says good night. And again, thank you, everyone that joined in tonight. Hopefully, we'll find some great things this weekend. I hope you guys have a fantastic and wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. If you find something really cool and you want to share it with me, share it with me. We're going to do our finds, followers finds, hopefully next time on the live stream. And if you've already shared some with me, then I'll try to get those up next time. But yeah, I'd love to share your finds, talk about your finds and so on, because you guys are outstanding. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hit that like button if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. We would appreciate that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful and fantastic night. Take care, and I will catch you guys soon on your next adventure. So take care. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you.